We are talking about spoilers today and why I don't mind them.
Hi, I'm Allie Samberts. I'm a romance author of smart and swoony contemporary love stories like the Lead Park series, a coffee shop romance called Common Grounds, and a couple of holiday novellas. My newest book, Not a Strong Enough Word, is coming out in May. You can grab paperbacks from my website or wherever books are sold, and all of my ebooks are on Kindle Unlimited. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more publishing news and other bookish and author-related ramblings. Now, on with the video.
Sometimes I feel like I am honestly the only person in the world who does not care about spoilers. In fact, there are a lot of times when I actively seek them out. A couple in a series is taking too long to get together. I need to know what book it happens in. I have a feeling one of my favorite characters is going to die. I must confirm so I can emotionally prepare myself. Author hasn't included content warnings, and I have a feeling my one and only trigger is in this book. I need to know everything about it to find out if I can keep reading, which is honestly just protecting my mental health. But even if the entire book is spoiled in my search for a summary to find the trigger, I'll just keep reading it. How? Why? Don't you want to be surprised? Well, okay, sure, maybe, kind of. But plot points are not the only thing to enjoy about a book. I'd actually go as far as to argue that plot points aren't even the most interesting thing about books in general. I fully admit that this might be easy for me to say, right? I'm an author of primarily character driven love stories. I read high stakes plot dependent books like fantasy and literary fiction. And I'm not a fan of thrillers where I imagine spoilers could ruin the whole thing because like the whole thing is plot. Regardless, for me, the best part of reading is watching how the author gets from one plot point to the next. I have always been more interested in the craft of writing than anything else. Honestly, this could be a job hazard, both for being a literature teacher and a writer. As a writer, like I usually know the entire plot of my books before I start writing. I say usually because we all know those characters have minds of their own. And as a literature teacher, I'm like rereading books constantly. Like I can't teach something I haven't read. But every time I reread them, I love them even more. Sure, there's the gratification of the first read. The surprise element is fun if it's there, but a reread just hits different, man. You already know what's going to happen, so the stakes are low. It becomes a comfort read, no matter how intense it is. But more than that, you're free of the plot. You can focus on other things like Easter eggs, smaller details, symbolism, little delightful turns of phrase that you didn't notice before because you were so hung up on what was going to happen. And to me, that's the fun part of reading. I also love the stuff in between the major plot points, the how of the book, not the what. And this is probably also why I hate fantasy novels that rely on magic too much. I need the in between to be way more satisfying than like, oh, I'll just cast this spell and it'll be over. I want my characters to have to work for something and work around things. And so that to me is like super satisfying. So I don't really care about spoilers. And on another note, this is why I truly believe that rereads count in your reading goals for the year because when you're rereading something, you're reading it differently. You're reading it for, like I said before, those cute little turns of phrases, the symbolism, the how the author did it, the authorial intent, if you will, what the author wanted you to get out of it versus what you are experiencing for the first time. When you're experiencing those things for the first time, you're looking at them like it's a surprise, and that's fun. But when you're studying it, right? And I know studying sounds like so boring, but when you're studying it for something more because you're free to look at that stuff because you already know what's going to happen, well, that's reading in a different way. And so to me, it's a different book. I actually think that Holden Caulfield said this in Catcher in the Rye, that every time he rereads a book, it's different. Either he's changed somehow or you see something new. And that's a really fun part of rereading. And I think that when you look up spoilers or you get a spoiler, yeah, it's not as fun to have that first read again, but it definitely gives you a freedom to look at the book a different way. And so that's why I don't mind them. But I'm curious what you think. Do you mind spoilers? Let me know in the comments.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you can keep up with all of my publishing news and bookish thoughts. And for more behind the scenes info, check out my socials in the links below. New videos drop every Sunday morning, so don't forget to grab a coffee and cozy up with me next week.